Welcome to another installment of Grass-Fed Ginger's 5-Minute Happy Hour with your certified nutritionists and hosts, Adrienne Klein and Renee Dubois, featuring wine, amusement, shenanigans, and possibly some nutrition.
Welcome back to another episode of 5-Minute Happy Hour with the Grass-Fed Gingers. We have taken a wee bit of a break, not because we wanted to, but just because life is crazy. But I'm here with my other ginger friend, Renee, and we're the Grass-Fed Gingers. And what we do is drink wine and give you facts.
And we have got the wine.
We've got the wine. So it's important that we drink the good wine. This is Fieldhouse Chardonnay. These wines are organic, clean crafted, and biodynamically farmed, which means it's just the grapes. It's just fermented grapes, and it's beautiful and wonderful. And we'll leave a link in the description so you guys can also purchase this amazing wine and drink along with us. But today, what are we going to talk about, Renee?
We are going to talk about 5 reasons to create a healthy microbiome.
I love the microbiome. Oh, we should cheers.
This is my
Cheers.
biome.
Cheers to the
It's
microbiome.
what I call home. All of my time I've
Okay,
spent
so
wine.
building you.
It is good wine.
Mhm.
And I don't normally love Chardonnay, so it is good. Okay, so the microbiome. A lot of people have heard these words now. We all know about gut health now. So we're going to tell you 5 reasons why it's really important to have a good, healthy microbiome. We are more bacteria and yeast than we are human cells. So we're more like a walking and talking bacteria and yeast factory. And these guys, they actually help us live and be healthy. So number 1 reason to have a healthy gut microbiome is because it helps create symbiosis in the gut. And that symbiosis is a beautiful thing, but when it gets out of balance, it's called dysbiosis, it can lead to, and studies are showing this, actually lead to obesity and metabolic syndrome and, inflammatory bowel disease and so much more. So happy gut, healthy; not happy gut, not healthy.
Woohoo. Number 2, we hear a lot about what we eat fermented wise, but number 2 is what we eat matters, and it alters our microbiome.
Mm-hmm.
And so it influences the microbiome in so many ways, and it's huge because if we eat bad stuff, then our microbiome isn't getting fed what it needs to thrive. So foods that help keep it in a healthy state are going to be, yes, your fermented foods, but people don't always think about fiber. And if we're not getting enough fiber in a day, that wreaks havoc on our microbiome. And fiber in the form of a prebiotic fiber is really beneficial for feeding the good guys. So it's the bacteria's food that they eat. So the probiotics are the good guys, and the prebiotics are the food for the good guys.
And this is my biome. It's what I call home. All of my time I've spent building you.
And so, inulin fiber is the food. And we've been eating inulin fiber. It's been put in things for a long, long time, but it's also good to get it like in resistant starch. And an example of like resistant starch is going to be like a cooked potato that's been cooled and made into potato salad.
So
Or
good.
pasta that's been made into a pasta salad. I know it's carbohydrates, but it's also a resistant starch. So sometimes we have to just think about the microbiome and how we're feeding it.
There's also, a lot of studies out there about resistant starch, and actually it doesn't ping the glucose like regular starch does. So when you eat resistant starch, it actually feeds your gut microbiome without getting that glucose spike, which then creates the insulin spike. So, like if I make potatoes for dinner and I'll just put them in the fridge, right? They're leftovers. You just eat them cold out of the fridge the next day, and it's beautiful resistant starch.
It is. And I think people don't realize that it becomes a resistant starch and it's still that carbohydrate. And so they're not getting all those benefits. So yes, resistant starch in the form of cold pasta or cold potatoes is great.
Mm-hmm.
Microbiota and autoimmunity. So We have to have balance in the gut to help create and protect against autoimmunity.
Yep.
And that's where our body attacks itself. And so these little critters that are in our body really matter to protect us. And when they're down in count, then our body starts to react in a really negative way. And autoimmunity can affect us in so many different areas of our life. And so we really have to protect against that. Yeah. Yeah.
Had I but known. But that's why we're here, to maybe help those never get to the place where I'm at or other people are.
I think people too forget about psoriasis as being an autoimmune disease, and that affects the body in a rash form. So there's so many different autoimmunities that just can take us out. So
yeah.
building
Good
up
one.
that microbiome.
There's some that are just so dramatically horrible, and then there's some that you just live with for the rest of your life. So
I think some are silent and some are known, so figuring out that silent autoimmunity is really important.
Number 3. So gut bacteria actually help protect our brain too. So there's a new kind of buzzword or buzz phrase out there saying, our gut is our second brain. And it's so true, because those cells, those bacteria, they talk to other cells, which talk to all of our body, right? We're made up of cells. And so when there's dysbiosis, or, the gut bacteria is not doing well, it doesn't help our brain, and it can create imbalances like anxiety and depression, dementia, and even maybe autism too. That's kind of some interesting research that's coming out lately about gut health and autism.
Yeah, it makes a really big difference in the body. We don't think about it, these little critters, we don't always remember that they are more of us than anything. And we have to build them up.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yep, they help us live. We're the host, and they help keep us alive, basically.
Yeah, just the host, which is kind of
yes. Okay, we gotta drink to that.
Yes.
Okay. What are we on? 5, right?
5. Yep.
Okay, 5. So good gut health will actually protect you against systemic inflammation. And systemic means all over your body, right? So if you get like a little cut, that's not systemic. That's just inflammation that gets right there. But there's systemic inflammation, which can lead to autoimmunity as well. So having good gut, wow.
A good butt works.
Good gut bacteria is going to help keep that inflammation at bay. Like basically, creates this barrier so that we're not experiencing that. And a bonus. There always has to be a bonus.
I have a fun fact. We have a little fun fact for you regarding H. pylori. I think it's one of the most fascinating microbes that we have in our microbiome. We need it to help regulate our stomach acid. Mm-hmm. And I don't think everybody realizes that it is such an important factor. It helps to eliminate viruses and toxic bacteria that enter our food, and it kills it and wipes it out. It also is kind of a little secret because it helps to control 2 hormones in our body that are really important. And ghrelin is the hormone that tells us to eat.
Hungry.
When we're hungry.
I'm hungry.
And then when we don't have that, we don't get that mechanism turned on. Mm-hmm. And then leptin is the hormone that tells us when we're full. So if we don't know when we're full and H. pylori isn't doing its job, then we just eat and eat and eat. And then we don't know why we're gaining weight and why we're always hungry. So those 2 hormones are really, really important in H. pylori.
That is a great, best kept secret.
It is, isn't it?
H. pylori.
Yeah.
Your friend.
H. pylori.
Imbalance.
Imbalance. Yeah, we don't want that out of balance because then antibiotics come in and they wipe out our whole microbiome.
Yes,
So keeping it in balance with your prebiotics that feed your probiotics, really important, in lots of forms of food. You can do it with supplements, but I really like food as well because it gives them actually something to chew on. And when they don't have the food that they need to chew on, then that's where they start to turn on us. And that's where autoimmunity comes in, like we talked about earlier. So it's really important to feed your microbiome with prebiotics and probiotics to help enter in more good guys to just help that micro garden to bloom.
I love it. The micro garden. And we are the gardeners.
We are the gardeners. We have to tend it, don't we? We have to keep it fertilized with good stuff.
Oh.
Cheers.
Cheers. Organic, clean crafted, biodynamically farmed wine. It has been another lovely episode with the Renee and the Grass-Fed Gingers doing the 5-minute happy hour.
Till next time.
Till next time.
Probiotic. I'm just gonna keep drinking.
Okay.
And this is my biome, it's what I call home. All of my time I've spent building you